Okay, so I'm on my desk because remember the reason why I didn't take the little cheap, dainty Element X off my desk because I can't live without it. Like I want to hear it all the time. Well, this, which is the Xduoo 604 hybrid balanced tube, is kind of the same way. I'm hang this up here for a second. Um, Things are happening. Packages are being delivered. So Apo sent me this, and it sent it to me a while ago, and I put it up here on my desk, and I'm like, all right, I'll get to it. I'm sure it's going to be as good as the 601 and 602. 601 was a little bit like it was underpowered, and you might as well get the one for like $10 more that's, better. And that was the 602. And so this one comes out, and it's a bit stranger. Here, let me see if I can get some distance. Because it's very similar to the Geshelli Labs Erish, which I will link in the description, where it is a balanced input only amplifier with balanced only output. There's no way to put single-ended. So here on my desk, I've got this set of Sennheiser HD800s, which has a balanced connector, so I could use those. I've got the Hart audio cable on the GL2000s, so I could use it on that. Can't use it on that. Can't use it on my beautiful Koss Clears, and I can't use it on my Sony MDR CD900 STs, which are like my permanent hooked up to the Moto M2. Those are like my close back. I just need to have everything just watch things, video. So I can't hook it up to half of my headphones that are only single-ended, but anything balanced will work because it has a 4.4 balanced out on the front here, and a full-size 4-pin balanced out there. And then on the right, for whatever reason, a 4.4 balanced input, which is strange but appreciated. I mean, the reason I appreciate it is because it fixes the OCD linearity of the front. There's two holes, and then there's the hole with multiple holes, and there's two knobs. We got to talk about the two knobs. And then there's 4 tubes, but they're offset to the right. But I'm okay with that because that means you could put like adapters and stuff on that side of it. Power switches in the back. There's a little, if you didn't see it, there's a little tiny, it's the smallest little switchy switch. And there's a power transformer over here. This is the power transformer for it. How big are you? Hold, please. I'm not supposed to do things on my desk, but I don't want to move it. 12 volt 2 amp, which is not like, oh my God. But we got to talk about, oh my God, a little bit. Whereas this has a very similar problem to the other two Xduos, in that I fucking love it, but it's very hard to use. And I say that because, well, honestly, the two knob thing is not that bad. A lot of the old school Stax Energizers would literally just have a knob inside another knob, and you'd have to turn them both because you could then turn the left or right individually to balance it out, because Stax cans tend to have an imbalance in them. And so when your Stax cans get weak on one side, you could just adjust it to be correct. So you basically are getting, in the truest sense of the word, a monoblock setup for left and right headphone. This is your left volume knob. This is your right volume knob. I have an issue with the little indicator being just this little tiny taper there. That needs to have definitely more visual acuity. Like, I got to talk about DMS too for a second. I love that man. But he got one of these before I did, and he did the review, I think, of it before I did, and I heard what he said about it via messages personally to me before I made this video, and it kind of gave me like a headspace that I was like in. I'm like, but then I just tested it, and it's full of shit. So, real quick, DMS said, and I love DMS, and he and I disagree on everything. We're like the Siskel and Ebert of the internet world. He said, this thing makes everything sound like crap. I hate it. And you could pull out 3 of the 4 tubes and it still works. And so, being the person who's about to do the review of it, I hadn't pulled out the tubes yet. I plugged my headphones in, and I turned it up, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to pull out one of the tubes and see if it does nothing. Pull out that tube, and it goes, bing! Oh, fuck! Put it back in. I had to shut it off, reset it. Okay, maybe that was a tube he said you had to leave in. So I pull out the left side tube. Same thing. Left side just goes, lose half the volume. It sounds like he yanked the tube out. And I'm like, all right, maybe it's a fluke, and I'll pull out this tube here. Same shit. So all 4 tubes in my unit are absolutely functional, at least 3. I didn't want to pull that one out. I'm tired of like almost going deaf from testing that. So yes, all 4 tubes are hot and functional. And they look like they're glowing, but there's actually, they did a very clever thing. They have slow light LEDs. So when you turn it on, the LEDs slowly build up. And I know they're LEDs because if I shut it off, they immediately go off. And if it was a slow glow, see, it glows up and it's off. So
this is a reminder. Take out the trash.
now hitting number 37. It's going to do it again. I have to wait.
This is a reminder. Take out the trash.
That's every one of my Alexas reminding me. Not in time at all. And for some reason, they made it so it happens much further apart. So it just takes up more of my day and doesn't align properly. Anyway, so all 4 tubes are working. You have to feed it a balanced input. So the power switch is on the back. I don't really mind on a little tiny tube amp because on a shit unit, if like the power switch or this is on the back, it would suck, but it's right there because I want to reach behind things. But here it's just like boop, boop. So I give them a pass. Plus the price point of this, did I even tell you the price point of this? This thing sits right now at APOS at $169. Wallpaper, by the way, if one of these tubes is useless, then that wallpaper is perfect. But I pulled out 3 tubes and it works, so we're going to assume one of them is useless and that wallpaper works. And it's 4 fun, cheap, easy things, and that's what this is. I fucking love this thing. I fucking love it. And it's like I have right there's my Tor fucking Roger. And I had my Tor Roger here to use, and it's a tube amp, it's a true tube, and it's made in Ukraine, and you plug it in, and it heats up. And I'm probably still going to use that because that thing has very specific properties, but holy fuck, can I explain to you the sound difference that this thing makes? And sometimes that's all that matters. All right? Is it cheap? Yes. Does it do what it says it does? Yes. Are there issues? Yes, of course there are. So I was gonna plug in these, but this is the most important headphone because these are the Shure 1540s. And if you don't know why I bought the Shure 1540s, it's because I love them and hate them. They're one of the nicest built, most beautifully engineered, sliding, comfortable little fucking rails. And you know what kind of pads these 1540s use? 1540 pads and carbon fiber and and MMCX connectors, so you can use an IEM cable that's beautiful and nice instead of the stock one. And but they sound like shit. And by shit I mean they're so neutral and boring. And I verified this by simply plugging into that and then switching this over to balanced. And then going Tales from the Crypt. Oh, Yoko Kanno's Rain from Cowboy Bebop. I know this song. I know this unit is fucking amazing at $3,400. And I don't want to listen to this song with this amplifier. So if I go boop, no, not that boop. I got to go boop, boop, boop. It clicks. Now it's feeding from this $3,400 DAC amp into this $107 thing. And now if I go like this and this and this, and now I love these. Like that's. If someone came to me, and people do this all the time, hey Zeos, prove to me that there's a difference between amps, or prove to me there's a difference between DACs, or prove to me, that would be the test. It go from here to here, and this is the pinnacle, as far as I'm concerned, of solid state performance. Like one all, fuck you, done. And this is like a little $107 add-on. And these headphones, specifically that I pulled up here today on a whim, show the difference between like I guess linear and clean and what it can accomplish, but the difference between what a fucking headphone that needs help when it's not getting help and a headphone that needs help when it's holy fuck the most help. So now here's the issue. 2 volume controls, you could totally get past that. I think you could totally get past that. I don't know why I look at the monitor like that's you. I guess because there's smiling faces all around. But just like the M602, I have to come with a word of warning. There is so much gain. I don't think it's power, because we're only feeding it 12 volt 2 amp. And that's not enough to make like 70 watts, bro. But there's gain. And the problem with gain is that it gets, well, here. These are not that hard to drive. I'm going to turn these knobs all the way down. And I'm going to turn this up 37 decibels. 37! And then we're going to unpause this. And then I'm going to put these headphones back on my head. And we're going to see how far I have to turn these knobs with this now outputting at full voltage. So if you're giving a balanced DAC into this amp, you're giving it full voltage. I can kind of hear music playing, but not really. So we're going to turn this knob. Okay, that's now loud. And those went from there to there, and they are loud. What the fuck? Now, I know these are hard to drive, or easy to drive. And, maybe these are a little bit harder to drive, and those are those are very easy to drive. But, what the fuck are you doing? So, I will give you this word of warning. If you're buying this, and I think for that price and for what I'm describing, the sound is literally just as, it is as tubey as any tube amp I've ever heard, maybe more so, because Xduoo does some fucking magic. You can't just plug it into like Shipmodius DAC right there. You have one of those and you plug it into this. The Shipmodius is just DAC. It'll just be DAC. I have my volume up on foobar here. If you have full volume on your digital, source, and you have a DAC that is just full voltage out, you put this amplifier on it, and you're gonna go, ah! And then your right ear is now fucking on fire. And it's gonna distort like crazy. Because it's just gain. It's like there's a switch that needs to be flipped the fuck back off. Like, no, where's the switch that makes it not stupid? Oh, there is no switch. That's the next model. So my answer to this is you lower your source. You get a DAC that has a volume source. You can do this via like foobar. You could just lower your foobar volume and it'll be fine, or safer at least. The problem is I don't trust digital volume controls, because if you have a remote control or a keyboard shortcut or command, and all of a sudden another tab opens up. And it's like, hey, remember that YouTube video from that fucking, rave from 2007 with the mono microphone that's way too overgain? If that just pops up and bypasses all the volume controls on your computer and pushes through your DAC into this, whatever's attached to this will probably get damaged along with your hearing, along with the thing, everything's broken. So we're going to take this back down 37 decibels, where I can then just crank both of these knobs 100%. Because now I don't have to worry about balancing it either, because they're both at 100%. And now it's perfect. You could bring them to noon if you wanted to. I bring these to noon so that I have to sort of like balance them. I could bring this up as loud as 20 decibels below zero. Is it here that I belong? I can't believe I'm enjoying these headphones this much. Like, they've been sitting on my wall, and this is like I was gonna modify them and change them. I may not swap the drivers in this now, because of that amplifier. And I've had these on a tube and it didn't do this much. So, here's the thing. I'm doing this review kind of late. This thing's been out for a while. I'd ask anyone who's watching this video that has a YouTube account and is signed in the comments of this video, give your brief impression of this 604. If you are on Hi-Fi Guides, which is the forum that DMS and I run, the Siskel and Ebert fucking forums, because we don't agree on a lot of things, but we're gonna have a fight on this one. There will be a post for this tube amp. I will make sure of it. Go post your opinions on this little baby hybrid tube amp that costs under $200 and give me your opinions on it. Because it's already sort of like, most people watching this are going, what's a single-ended and what's not single-ended? Zeos, we don't understand. If your plug looks like this, if it's a 1/4 inch plug, you can't use this. If your plug looks like this, if it's a 3.5 millimeter, you can't use this. If it looks like this, which is the 4.4 Pentacon, which just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metal bits, you can use this. Or if it looks like this, you can use this. And if you don't have a balanced source, so this is like, it's like the Erish, but at least the Erish I understand, because the Geshelli Labs Erish is a balanced only in, balanced only out amplifier, but it's sold by a company that sells nothing but balanced DACs. So they expect you to get it with a little stack. This is just sort of sitting out there waiting for someone who understands that, oh, someone's going to buy this and they're not going to have, you know what? I can fix this. I will link in the description the correct adapters to put on this to convert it to use RCA inputs. That should work. I don't know if I have enough to go test right now, but that should work. I'll say in the comments below or the description if it doesn't work, but it should work that you could plug in little adapters to that and then plug straight up RCAs into it. And that might also help with this insane fuck you gain because it'll be less voltage going into them. And it will still be balanced because it's literally just pushing left channel and right channel to separate split amplifiers with split volume knobs and everything. So that should be fine. They don't include them. You know what? Hold on one sec. We're going to test. All right. Quick trip down to my basement. I have all the gender adapter, gender changers, the things that make the thing that look that's a cool submarine. So I plugged in world's best XLR RCAs, and we're going to unplug the source here. And now we need these. One. I'm Zeos. I have every adapter. I can turn every gender to every other gender to every type of connector to balance to unbalance. It's fantastic. One. All right. Oh, where are we? Please don't blow up. Two. So if those work, they work just fine. Yeah, no, so there you go. You can get this now. Even if you don't have a balanced source, you just have to get those adapters, which are like $8 or $9, possibly each. Because I'm coming off the same DAC. It's still as, oh my God, it's still as loud though. That does not help the volume at all. 0. Now at negative 35 decibels. By the way, you want to know what song that was? Because people always ask. That's Code Phoenix Boom Boom. And here's Ludwig Göransson, The Marshal's Tale from The Mandalorian. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, no, okay. I'm going to verify that this is a safe thing to do, by the way. Because, I mean, it shouldn't matter because you're not crisscrossing any grounds because it wouldn't care. The RCA is not getting fed back anything. All this could be doing is expecting a higher voltage and it's not getting it. But that doesn't seem to fucking matter because it's still loud as balls. Yeah, no, this is a fucking tremendous piece of equipment. And I can actually pull it forward now that, oh, God damn it, it unplugged. Me and my proper actual wiring. Here it is. So get these adapters which make it stick back and then get nice Amphenol plugs that stick way back. Okay. Here's the little power switch. Look, oh. And look, all the lights come on. Oh, it's so cute. The fact that it's like this small and does this much good, and I don't want to put hard, like here's the thing. People are going to ask me, well, Zeos, how hard a headphone can you put in to drive before it distorts? And I don't know. Because I know how hard, like this is a slightly harder to drive headphone. GL2000s. My set. A perfect fucking immaculate set. We're at the same volume. Oh God, it sounds so good. Ooh, Acid 8000, my Fat Boy Slim. You know, it's like these are all the way up. Now I could raise it up a little bit. So I'm at like 26. I'm afraid to get anything loud enough to like, okay, let me see what I can distort. Because I feel like with whatever circuitry they've designed in here, distortion gonna be bad. So unless you have what you consider like a high gain headphone, I'd be okay with pretty much running anything on this. Here, I know this is my fucking, they're here. Let's turn that down a little bit again. They're here. All right, so now we're at max gain at -20 there. So H800s require the most power of the group so far. And that's blarsting. That is... This should be one of my most popular videos. This should be the video that defines the most popular videos of my channel, because it's fucking dumb. I gotta go watch DMS's video. I don't watch other reviews, by the way, in case you're wondering, like, oh, Zeus, did you see the video? I don't watch anybody's reviews. I don't want anyone else's opinion. I just sit here and form my own and then bullshit into a microphone, and then hopefully people like what I say and the products that I recommend. And this fucking thing is like, strap it on. I don't care how much expensive gear you have, how many real tube amps you have, how many tubes you've swapped, if you like vinyl, if you like, oh my God, I have that IFI preamp that has a 4.4 Pentacon output for balanced. I could run this from the vinyl pre, from the phono pre into this, and then I could power a headphone. Wow, that would be wild. Add this to your setup. It's $170. It costs, that's under $200, and it's not even like, oh, Zio says everyone needs a very linear solid state amplifier, yes, and everyone needs a class A, like more fun, and then I considered like that, like the perfect balance between the two, and then everyone needs at least a tube amp to like run HD600s, and then a hybrid tube's a good idea for like planars and hard to drive stuff. This is a fifth category. I don't even consider this the same as like a hybrid tube. This is doing some other whacked out shit. It's like a permanent IFI magic button that just runs through this silly fucking box. It's a silly fucking box. It's a silly box. It's a silly things. And I love everything it does. And it's got two knobs, which could, as long as you can control your source, there's like 75 million DACs. Hell, I'll link to the Motu M2, as this is what controls my iLoud MTMs. And it's got XLR out in the back. Actually, it doesn't have XLR on the back. It has RCA out the back. So you can just use RCA into adapters, or that has 1/4-inch TRS that are balanced, and you have to buy those wires to adapt to this. But then as long as you have a volume knob before this, it's all you need. It's all you need. The whole world. Hello. All you need before you buy this is a volume knob you can put before this. This has a volume knob I can adjust before that. That has a volume knob you can adjust before that. Like the Topping L30 with a little remote control. As long as it has a volume control before you get to this, it's I was going to say spectacular and fantastic, and I was like, spantastic. It's fantastic. It does it doesn't leave my fucking desk. I was going to bring it downstairs, and I'm like, no, that's not where it belongs. This is not where it belongs. It belongs here. It belongs right here. I mean, it's pushing like I have issues with sound on like the H800s. Even these pair, they're the best pair I've heard, sound legitimately better on this $170 thing. If I could do this, I could hear, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, and this, and this, and that, and then we'll, actually it's pretty hard to drive, so we'll leave those on, up, go on. Well, that's much more linear. That's great. That sounds great. I could hear the tubes rattle around when I do that, though. I'd rather hear it on this. That's life. That's life. Fine. Look. If you're, People on my Discord have an issue that say, oh, Zeos, you just tell people to buy things, they just listen to you, and they just, but please do your research, always. I'm trying to help out people with their research by going into the comments of this video. See how many, even though there's only like 10 other reviews of this fucking unit. Other people must be hearing what I'm hearing, right? This is like, what is this magic bullshit? This is magic bullshit. I love it. And it's not expensive magic bullshit. That's the best part. The price to performance is off the chain. You just have to deal with either adapters and then volume knobs and then back switches and then and then you can only do certain headphones, but fucking worth it. Absolutely fucking worth it. Full endorsement. I endorse to the fullest. Now, links to that in A posts. Links to, I guess, that on A posts since I've been... I mean, here's the thing. I don't think you need a $3,400 DAC, but I got it here, and that's what I was feeding it with. I don't think that's the reason the magic is so here. This is too magical to just say... Besides, if I'm going to the headphone out, and I think most headphones aren't as exciting and fun than this... a link to all the headphones. I don't know. A link to that anime figure because you've been staring at it. That one was expensive and in my Amazon cart, and I bought it and I'm like, it's not bad. I'll keep it on my desk. Mostly they're lewd, and that one's actually classy. Wallpaper in the description. Patreon and Subscribestar if you want to see these reviews early. And now that I'm doing every other day, that actually matters because it could be a week or 2 weeks before one of these videos goes live. And if it's out of stock, or if it's like, hey, that's old news, Zeos, why are you releasing this public video? You know, because my patrons and Subscribestar people, who are the people who are paying me to see this shit, see it way earlier. And that's $5 a month. You get into the yard sale. I will not be selling this. I'll probably sell the 602, actually. But that one can at least do, that's such a good, having both of them, because then I'll definitely link to the 602 and the 604, because the 602 can actually accept, you know, CAS. And I thought it did an amazing job with that, like anything that is just a single-ended. So you could basically get yourself a DAC, dedicate it with a balanced out for these, and dedicate it with an RCA out for that, then lower the fucking volume down, because both of them need it. And you'd have just like a perfect setup. And somehow get an Erish in there. So anyway, yard sales and see reviews early for $5 a month on either platform. Then if you want to ask me questions, you can't do it really on either of those, because I answer some questions, but it's overwhelming. So if you want to actually ask me a question or talk to me directly, $10 a month will get you in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat. Which, do I have it open, or is it just going to open not safe for work things? Hold on. Oh my God, she's so big. Okay, here it is. So what do we got going on here? Golden One is posting that B-Series APX555 audio analyzer from Audio Precision. It's not even sexy. I don't want to have one of those. And there's a box, and there's a straight bass homie GIF. And then we've got just, what is that? A Kenwood MOSFET. Wow, look at that. They made the zoom on Telegram windows smooth. That's cool as hell. That's mess, man. Holy God. Yeah, so if you want to talk audio shit with a bunch of people, $10 a month gets you in the behind the scenes private Telegram chat. And yeah, hi-fi guides in the hi-fi guides forum. I already mentioned them earlier. This post should be here. It should be linked in the comment. There's a pinned comment always with the Patreon and support links, and then there'll be a post for this. And please discuss this thing, because maybe, you know, people claim I get like the golden units occasionally. Like everyone's claiming like this is the golden unit. But other people have gotten headphones as good as mine. It's just fucking luck of the draw sometimes. But this can't be. This has got to be. It's so good. I fucking love it. It's so good. I fucking love it. It's so good. I'm going to put it right back to my desk. I'm going to undo all these adapters, put it right back. Because, I mean, the actual unbalanced outputs feed this, which feeds that, which feeds those, and those are great too. But what if I could run it? I'm going wallpaper. Everyone good? You're good. I'm good. We're good. Kazuma, you good? Megamine, Aqua, Darkness. There's no Wiz in this background, so it's garbage. Or Chris. So, or the girl who runs the guild. Or who's other? There's some other. Oh, Union. We need a Union. Done. I'm done. See you in 2 days. And if these are not in stock, all my supporters bought them. Sorry.